The views and opinions expressed by the guest author or speaker during this live session are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Reader's Magnet. The content shared is for informational purposes only and does not constitute endorsement or promotion of any particular belief, ideology, or product.
Hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers. Welcome to the RM Hive. You are tuning into Reader's Magnet's featured author interview. I'm Brittany, and today I have the absolute pleasure of speaking with Janel Louise Ohletz, author of the compelling memoir Between Farm and Fork Journey to Find a True Path. So, Janelle, thank you so much for joining us today. Before we dive into your incredible journey, Janelle, could you tell our audience right now a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I grew up on a farm. That's
Mm-hmm.
where the book starts. And I currently work in a space that we are a company focused on carbon capture. We take grass and we turn it into building materials. And I direct the agriculture department here and work with farmers as well as our team here to create and begin to build the ability to help our climate. And so that's what I work on every day. And I'm focused on helping people, whether that be through my work here or through my book.
Wow, that's amazing. So, Janelle, are you ready for the interview or shall we
Yeah,
begin?
let's go for it.
All right, so let's start. Janelle, your book title, Between Farm and Fork, immediately evokes imagery of a journey from source to table, but I suspect there's a much deeper meaning in there. So, what inspired you to write Between Farm and Fork, and how does this title reflect your personal journey?
Well, first, I'm very much focused on sustainability and
Mhm.
regeneration, and both the regeneration and sustainability of soil and our climate and food, but also the human spirit and my own self included in building strength within myself. And it started, the impetus for writing the book was my father passed away last year, and we had
I'm so
a
sorry.
less than ideal relationship.
Mhm.
He caused a lot of trauma throughout my life, and I always felt wanting for the fact that even when I got my PhD, he never said he was proud of me. And I felt like I really needed to dig deep to
Mhm.
resolve a lot of the unresolved issues with the trauma that kind of haunted me and cluttered what I refer to as our toolbox, which the book really follows me on my journey to try to declutter my toolbox and address many mistakes and challenges that I had to overcome throughout my life. And throughout each of the chapters, I leave some nugget of information and guidance for the reader to be able to implement for their own life. And so this book, writing it, allowed me to heal and see the success that I achieved throughout my life, and also to come to terms with and put to bed the negative thoughts that I had from growing up and put that in a positive light and look at what I learned from all of my experiences. And so I implore anyone who is looking to make a change and dealing with a tough past or trauma to find the things that help to strengthen you and taught you to learn to use tools to success and leave all the other crap behind.
I find that amazing. But first of all, I'm sorry to hear that your father passed away and that most of all, how he treated you as his daughter. That's not easy.
Well, if we have
Yeah.
unresolved trauma when we're younger and we never
Yeah.
learn to put that aside and learn why we have triggers,
Mhm. Mhm.
then we never will get over it and we'll pass it on to the next generation. And in my
Yeah.
book, I'm very candid about choices that I made to ensure that I did not pass on my trauma to my children.
Yeah. That's amazing. From the fact that you chose to make this book and be a good to share it to the world to be able to help others, bring comfort to them. Like you really put yourself out there and you remained strong. You overcame all that, especially with the fact that you're thinking about not being able to pass it on to your kids. Because let's be honest, some parents don't think about that, right?
Well, I think we're often
Yeah,
so focused on trying to just run away from our problems and run
yeah,
away from our past that we don't look back and figure out what it is
mm-hmm,
that is causing us to continually make mistakes that we do.
yeah,
And so I just use a lot of self-reflection and healing, and I'm still learning, and I still have times where I fly off the handle for some ridiculous reason. And when I step back and look at it, it comes from my learned past, and I have
mm-hmm,
to unlearn it and learn a new way of living. And I think everyone can always learn to get past it. It just takes a lot of effort and making mistakes, and I make a lot of them.
definitely,
But I am
definitely.
always willing to admit my mistakes and then learn from them.
Yeah, that's the great thing about life. The only constant thing in life is change, growth, and most of all, learning. It,
Yes.
that's the journey of it. And speaking of journey, every meaningful journey comes with its obstacles. Looking back at the path you've traveled, Janelle, what was the biggest challenge you had to overcome, and how did it shape the person you are today?
Mm. Suppose the biggest challenge I had to overcome was confidence in myself, because that really affects everything else that I do.
Mhm.
And I didn't think I was worthy of love or worthy of praise. And when people would say, "Oh, you're such a pretty girl," I would be like, you know, I'm the ugly duckling, like, you know, and I never learned to take a compliment, and
Mhm.
I still struggle with that. But I learned to just pause and think thank you and appreciate someone, because it often is we can't take a compliment because we don't believe in our own self. And I think it's belief in myself that was the thing that allowed me to do all the other things that challenged me.
Yeah, like from what you've said, with how your father treated you, of course there will be many times you begin to doubt yourself. Like when somebody tells you something good about yourself, you begin to question, is that really true? Because I've never been told, I've never felt that way before.
Yeah, if you don't think you're worth anything, right?
Yeah.
You have to be your own cheerleader.
Yes,
The good thing
definitely.
is I was born stubborn as well. Got that from my dad and my
All
mom.
right. All right.
So being born stubborn, even if I didn't have the belief in myself, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to prove people wrong.
Yeah,
So if
definitely.
someone told me I couldn't do something, that was the impetus for, oh, well, I'll show you and I will
Yeah.
figure out how to do it. So I suppose the stubborn streak is very helpful in continuing to
Become a
push
good thing.
forward and not take no for an answer.
Yeah, like in a way, yeah, more ways than one. It's actually a good thing.
Right. Yes.
All
Being
right.
stubborn is a good thing. It's just, hard when you have children that are stubborn.
All all right, yeah. That it's a different thing with kids. So, Janelle, I think our audience will really appreciate this next question. So many people, I will even admit myself, are searching for their own direction right now. For someone who's feeling lost or overwhelmed in their own life, what first step would you suggest they take forward finding their true path?
Well, first, it's being completely open and honest with yourself and
Mm-hmm.
do some soul searching. Society blinds us to what we really want because we hear, oh, so and so's doing this, that's success. So, first, we have to step back and define, what does success mean for us?
Yeah.
Maybe it's not a lot of money in the bank account. Maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
not a fancy house. Maybe it's just having the independence to wake up every day and do something that you love to do. But you got to
Yeah.
figure out what that is. And
Yeah.
maybe as a child, there was something you really loved to do, but for maybe someone didn't encourage you, but that time made you feel like, wow, I'm at peace with myself. Go back to that time. Go back to visit the thing that gave you joy. And if you follow that path, it will lead to you feeling happier and living a true, authentic life. Everything
Yeah.
will fall into place. It takes time, obviously. It's not an instant
I
thing.
agree.
But being true to yourself is the most important part to finding the true path that you want to be walking on. If you love food, well, maybe you don't want to be a chef, but you could be a food writer, or you could work in some way tangential to that.
Yeah.
If you love crafts, maybe it's it's learning a new craft, or maybe
Hmm.
it's just working in a space that you're like working with people that are craft people. There's
Yeah.
so many different ways to work in a way that you're doing something you love to do, and not
Hmm.
just because that's the in job at the moment. That,
Yeah.
oh, you should be a lawyer because, all of our family were lawyers, or you should be a doctor because, we want doctor in the house. It's like, well, maybe that's not who you really are. And chasing something for someone else is not living an authentic life.
Yeah. Being who you are is the most important thing in life.
Absolutely. Be authentic, be
Yeah.
who you are. Just, as they say, you do you. And I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
more
Definitely.
people need to do that.
Yeah. So Janelle, you I believe I haven't asked you yet about this. Your
Mhm.
subtitle mentions finding a true path, which I think resonates with so many people today. What
Mhm.
key lesson from your journey do you hope readers will take away from your book?
Well, I mean, I certainly have had a lot of different paths in life. And so
Mm-hmm.
I was always chasing different paths. And I think that's another
Mm-hmm.
misnomer or misconception, is that we have linear paths, that we, start on a path and we got to stay on that one. You could
Yeah,
start
that,
on a path, absolutely love it. And
yeah,
then at a certain point, along
change.
comes a fork in the road
Yeah,
and something else looks more enticing, or wow, you didn't even know about that. Go investigate it. Go try
yeah,
it. Like, be willing to experience new adventures because you're going to learn something
that's true.
new. So don't be stuck. But a true path does not mean that it's always the same path. And my true path was finally having a major health challenge that allowed me to see that what I wanted after I got my PhD, you get it and you're
Hmm.
like, that's it.
Really?
You're like, well, you're chasing this big thing and then you get it and it's just so anticlimactic. So that I changed what I really wanted for a goal in my life, is
Hmm.
that no matter what I did, it was to make a difference in the
All right.
world.
Yeah.
And that is broad enough that I can do that in so many different ways. And so my true
Yeah.
path now is just to make a difference in people's lives, in the life of the planet, in the life of the ecology that's around me. And that is a never ending task. So it'll keep me busy for the rest of my life.
Yeah. And that's something that you really want to do. It's both a privilege and it feels very fulfilling, right?
Yes, I wake up every day excited
Yeah.
to come to work.
See,
And
that's,
I'm fortunate that I get to do that, but I've been able to do that because I've followed my
mhm,
heart and
yeah.
where my heart was leading me, and not necessarily following the paycheck or the glamour of whatever job it is.
Yeah. I, I agree with that. I myself, I'm someone whose goal is to find or do something with my life that I am gonna be sure that this is something I won't regret. After all, life is all about that. We have to live it, as you've
Right,
said. Yeah.
exactly.
So, Janelle, where can our listeners find Between Farm and Fork Journey to Find a True Path?
Well, you can either follow me on Instagram or Facebook at Oh Let's Grow
Mm-hmm.
is my handle there. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Barnes and Nobles and anywhere that books are sold. And then if they don't have it in your local bookstore, just
Mm-hmm.
ask them to carry it. They can easily bring the book in as well.
I love your username. It's witty. It's witty. I love it. Oh, let's grow. Yeah. And how about, are you working on any other new projects right now that you can share with us?
Yeah, my daughter, who's a professional chef, she's a private
Oh,
chef. And
wow.
I was a chef, which is where the
Mm-hmm.
fork part comes in the book.
Yes.
Both of us are working on a podcast that will be launched next year, and our last day of this year is our goal. Is called Too Many Cooks in the Kitchen, and it's TWO because both of us are chefs, and
Yeah.
it's us talking about health and food
Mm-hmm.
and sharing recipe ideas with the audience and talking about ways to eat clean
Mm-hmm.
and help to find health through food, but also go through the BS that's out there and kind of just talk about it candidly
Yeah.
about it from me as a scientist now
Mm-hmm.
and my daughter as a chef who is dealing with health issues that she's healing through food.
Yeah.
Both of us will be kind of bantering back and forth and having a very open and honest conversation as a mother and daughter combination.
I mean, yeah, it is a healthy banter though, right?
Correct, exactly.
Yeah. So that's good. So, Janelle, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. Everybody, you heard that. So, connect with Janelle, as she's mentioned her social media accounts. Janelle, your journey from farm to fork and everything in between is truly inspiring. I myself am inspired, and I know our audience will be eager to dive into your book. So, again, everybody, Between Farm and Fork, Journey to Find a True Path is available on Amazon and on Barnes and Noble. So, that's a wrap on today's featured author interview. To our amazing audience, thank you so much for tuning in here in the RM Hive. And again, don't forget to pick up a copy of Janelle's book. This has been Brittany. And as we say here in Reader's Magnet, we share your story with the world. Thank you, Janelle.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.